Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you stay tuned. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. I will say though, today's content is going to be a little bit different than usual. I typically do more lifestyle hauls, reviews, vlogs. I do fitness content as well, but today I wanted to do a video just basically to announce Josh and I's podcast that we are doing as a couple. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, but before I do, I just want to put out there, this channel is for me and it will stay for me and it will stay the same. So it's not going to take away from this channel. It's really not going to add anything to this channel because it's a completely separate entity than this channel. So, but I did want to share with my current subscribers and my current followers that this is something that is going to be changing in our lives and something that we're excited about. So hopefully that gives you peace of mind if you like my content the way it is. It will stay the same. I just wanted to put this out here to let everybody know. So the podcast together, it's called Beyond the Ears and it's a Disney podcast. So we really wanted to come up with something that represented Disney, obviously, but for people to understand it's not just Disney per se. So for example, primarily, my main love for Disney is the Disney parks. So the Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, and Epcot, and everything that entails. That is my love. I do love a lot of the movies as well. That's my kind of thing. Josh, on the other hand, is definitely much more well-educated and well-versed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as Star Wars, which is all under the umbrella of Disney. So we really just wanted to kind of come up with something where both worlds can combine and just make it really special. So yes, it's a Disney podcast, but it does cover Marvel, it does cover Star Wars, it's going to cover the parks, Disney Plus, all of the shows that are coming out on Disney Plus, as well as, endless possibilities with movies, news, all of the above. So that is what the podcast is all about. Just to give you a little bit about why we chose to do this podcast. First of all, this is something that has been on our to-do list for several years. We both have been big Disney fans for a very long time, and we have known that we wanted to do a podcast together for a long time, but life has always gotten in the way. And when we had Grayson, our whole world just imploded, basically, as it does when you have children, because it's just completely unexpected. Your life is completely different. So over the course of the past 2.5 years since we've had Grayson, we have really neglected our own relationship as a couple, which I think is something that's very common. And when you're in the kind of tornado of it all, it's hard to see that. But now that Grayson is 2.5, things have calmed down slightly and enough for us to recognize that we were definitely neglecting our relationship. So in order to spend more quality time together, we thought it would be perfect to do this podcast. So it is going to force us, that sounds sad, but it's going to force us to sit down and talk to each other, which is not something that we do often because we both work full-time jobs, and we both have a 2.5-year-old toddler who takes up a lot of our time. So it's really going to make us focus on communication with each other. It's not going to be about the housework or Grayson. It's just going to be fun. So really force us to sit down and hold us accountable to do that, because we are going to have subscribers and listeners who expect consistent content from us. So I'm thinking that's going to hold us accountable. I know sometimes it's going to be really hard. I can say already. We are so excited about the podcast. We filmed a welcome podcast, which was about 20 minutes. We filmed a Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness review podcast, which was an hour and 13 minutes. We filmed a Disney World, what's coming to Disney World in 2022 podcast that kind of ended up turning into what we would like to see in Walt Disney World in the next decade. That's kind of what that turned into. And I believe that was like a 45-minute podcast. And then we just recorded another podcast, and I don't even remember how long it was, but it was counting down our top 10 movies in the MCU and kind of rating those. And so that was a really long podcast as well. But all of these podcasts that we've done so far in the past week or so have not been in our normal podcast schedule, because we did have to sit down and come up with some sort of plan to be able to prioritize this and make the time for it. And with my work schedule, I get 2 Sundays off a month. So we were planning on recording pretty much every Sunday with the exception of when I close on Sundays. That way Grayson can nap and we can record a podcast, or we can have a family member watch him for like an hour while we do the podcast. So that was the plan, but unfortunately this past Sunday I worked till close, and so that didn't work out. But all this to say that we were thrown off our, recording schedule, and we still made it happen. We ended up recording till like 10:30 a couple of nights, but the excitement is definitely there for us, so we made it work. So that's kind of the why behind we're doing the podcast. We are still very new, so if you do subscribe or you do follow or listen to the podcast, just know that we're working on it. So for example, the welcome episode, the sound quality is not great, and then the next episode the sound quality is a little bit better, as well as the third episode, but ultimately it was not what we wanted it to be. So we ended up buying another microphone. That way both of us could be nice and loud and crisp sounding when we're talking. So it's going to be a project that we are always working on. Today I actually got Josh really quickly threw together channel art for us as like a thumbnail for everything, which I personally liked it, but it was a little bit plain. And so I spent some time today redoing our channel art and making that universal across all of our platforms, as well as getting all of the platforms set up. So if you would like to subscribe, listen, or follow, whatever, we're currently on YouTube, which I will link below. We're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So those are probably going to be the 3 that we stick with, because I feel like that pretty much covers everything. As a listener, I personally actually use all 3. I listened to our podcast on Spotify a couple days ago when that's how they were available. But now that it's available on Apple Podcast, that would be my choice of platform, I guess. But I also do like YouTube as well. So whatever platform you like, we've got, again, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. I will link all of the 3 below for you. If you like the content, please give us a thumbs up or a rating on whatever platform you are listening to. Please share with your friends. When you start something brand new, you really rely on people that you already know and that people that already like you to really get the ball rolling, because with a new podcast or a new YouTube channel, it's really hard to find that content, honestly, unless you have a direct link to it. It's my podcast, but it's been in, like, it's pretty much in Josh's name on all of the platforms. That's how he signed up for everything. But like it was hard for me to go find the channel on YouTube with the one video that we had posted as of earlier. So I'm gonna link everything directly for you, and if it's not something that you're interested, that's totally fine. I understand. Like I said earlier, this channel will still be here with all of the same content that I always post, but that channel will be there. In addition, if you like listening to me, I talk a lot more on the podcast, even more than I do here, obviously, because that's the whole point. But anyway, needless to say, your support would mean the world to me and to us, and we are just so excited about the possibilities. Really, they're just endless with that kind of thing. So, and I can already tell you we've had such a great time sitting together and talking, and it's definitely, even in the few episodes that we've recorded so far, has definitely brought us closer together as a couple. So that is all I have for this video today. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you so much for supporting me. This channel is not anywhere where I want it to be, but I have seen a huge number of subscribers over the past several months compared to my normal. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I am looking forward to the future of this channel as well as the future of our podcast. So that's going to be it for this video today. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.